Big news in the case of missing Lynette Hooker. Over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, her daughter writing this on social media. It's the first Mother's Day without my mom. It's pretty hard right now to know that she's not a text message away. Previously, we spoke with her. She said this.
It hit me hard that she's actually not here.
What questions do you have for him?
How drunk were you guys that night? Were you guys fighting? Why was it so bad that you felt the need to do this? If that did happen, why didn't you just leave and have a divorce?
Over the weekend, the U.S. Coast Guard seized the Soulmate, this yacht that you're looking at right there. This is a picture from CBS News. This is a picture from Fox News Channel. This is big news because now it's in U.S. custody, and authorities now have the boat if they choose to investigate this as a crime. And you know who doesn't have access to it is the husband, Brian Hooker, who has been radio silent ever since he left the Bahamas after he claimed professing his love to Lynette and saying that he would never leave until he found her or got answers.
I said I've never harmed Lynette, and I never would harm Lynette, and I want to find Lynette.
I don't think I've ever been apart from her in 25 years for this long.
Any message to those who doubt your account of the story?
I have no message to those who doubt me at all, ever. I'm going to keep doing what I need to do.
Brian Hooker denies any wrongdoing. He has not been charged with any crime. He was in custody for several days, and right there you heard, after he was released, he was telling the news outlets that he was going to search for his missing wife. But what happened next, he boarded the next flight back to America, and he said that he did that because his mom was sick. But he has gone radio silent ever since. We have no idea where he is at this point in time, or if he even knows that the yacht, the Soulmate, is now in U.S. custody with the U.S. Coast Guard there in Florida. Lynette Hooker's daughter, however, Karli Aylesworth, is now trying to get back to the Bahamas. She has a GoFundMe account. I'll share it with you at the end of this episode. She went there searching for her mom, and she has a lot of question about Brian Hooker's story. She says it doesn't add up. Here's part of our interview when she got back from the Bahamas and after she saw that boat. Did you notice anything unusual with the boat?
In the boat, there was stuff like everywhere, like all over the couch, all over the V-berth and their bed. So it was kind of a wreck. It was pretty exhausting just talking about it. It's a lot emotionally tolling, but I'm glad I went and got the answers I got. It was very helpful.
Yeah, and you're back after being there a few days. What is the latest? So let's just start there.
So the Coast Guard and the police of Bahamas won't tell me anything because it's an ongoing investigation. So we kind of retraced their steps one day when we had a full day to ourselves, and we got on a boat and went to the floating bar that they were at, asked some questions. They said nothing was unusual. And then we went along to the channel that they were at from Elbow Cay, and it's pretty shallow outside of the channel. So it's just raised more questions as to why. Brian is pretty tall, so he could have jumped in and walked to save her in some places. So it just it answered questions, but it also raised more questions because I'm like, why did he do this? Why did not he do this? So.
And we'll get into that a little bit more too, because I've had a couple experts on my show that specialize in searching for missing persons abroad. And he was getting information that they brought in dogs, and the dogs could smell so many feet down in the water, but the water, as you were saying, isn't that deep. So he was also hearing that there's a major search or possibly an emphasis in searching by land. And that surprised a lot of people, including myself. Did that surprise you? What have you heard about the search by land? Is it bigger than the search by the water?
No, because there's not much land. The islands are only a couple miles long at most, and one of them's 6 miles long. So, I did read comments that, what about searching on land? Did she ever even got on that dinghy? And so it kind of, yeah, I've heard about that, and I heard that they were searching land and at Lubbers Island because the wind was blowing that way, so she would have ended up somewhere on that island. So, yeah.
But you didn't see anything more of an emphasis on the land versus the water.
No, I did hear that they got a giant plane to go over the water. The Coast Guard did. So I think they're just trying to search every inch right now.
Yeah, land, air, and by sea there. Okay, so when you were finally able to make it to the island there, the Bahamas, talk to me about your search, how you ended up there. I've been there a couple times covering other cases, and it's not easy to get around. So just kind of walk me through the process of getting there and getting boots on the ground and starting.
So we started out flying to Nassau, and we were there for the first night. We just walked the streets. I got my hair braided by a local. She just came up to me in the streets, it's like, let me braid your hair. And I was like, sure, why not? So that was pretty neat. And then we flew to Marsh Harbor the next morning at 7 a.m. And we stayed at the Konkin, which is a really nice place. And then we did some interview with Dateline, and then we talked to the police for about 3.5 hours, giving my side of the story and everything that I knew, and they needed like formal documents of it. They handwrite everything, so that it took a while. So, but I'm happy to answer anything for them. And then I went to the boat that day, and I got some of her belongings. Like I have her necklace on right now that she used to wear all the time. I got a picture frame I made for her. I painted on, and some pictures and some of her headbands because she loved to wear headbands. So that was really nice, but it was really hard. It hit me hard that she's actually not here. So I felt like she was just going to pop out of the window and, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. But it was hard because she's done a lot to that boat. Like she sewed the window, she sewed the cover to the grill. Like it's just, she is very creative, and so it was really hard. And so I went to bed like at 6 that night because I was just drained. And then the next day we ended up going to Hopetown, and we got a golf cart, and so that's how we got around there, and went to Abaco Inn. We did not go to Firefly because there's no proof that they were there. There's no cameras there, so none of the workers recognized them. So we didn't go there. We went to Abaco Inn, talked to them, looked at the cameras, but he never sent me the camera footage because he said he just sent that to Bahamian police. And so I'm going to respect that, I guess. I have to. And then we went to, what was the other one? The second restaurant we went.
And you were with your partner, right? He's right there with you.
Yep.
You've had support through this, and that's beautiful.
I'm behind the scenes. I'm writing notes and little messages to her because when we're on camera, I forget everything. That's why I don't like being on camera. And
sometimes I freeze up.
And she tends to forget the little details. And when I'm off camera, I remember a lot more than when I'm on it. So I like to sit in the background. It's just easier for me.
Hey, Karli, who is this?
Steve, my boyfriend.
Well, Steve, it's nice to meet you, and I totally get it, especially like when you're dealing with a trauma situation like what you guys are in the middle of. It's totally understandable. Like no one knows what you're going through other than you. You know what I mean? So I think that's beautiful that he's there with you.
Yeah, it's helped a lot. He's like my biggest support system right now.
Well, you need that, and I'm glad that you have that, especially right now going through all of this. And talking about the boat, I saw that you were saying some words to your mom. What were you saying to your mom when you were there?
I was just talking to her. I was like, "Hey, Mom, I know you're out there somewhere. I just hope you're I honestly hope you're just on an island somewhere. I hope you're okay. Just know that I love you and I wish you were here right now.
Did you notice anything unusual with the boat?
No. It all seemed normal. I mean, I went in the boat, there was stuff like everywhere, like all over the couch, all over the V berth and their bed. So it was kind of a wreck, but
Kind of like someone left in a hurry.
yeah, like he left in a frantic. And
Is that because of what he may have done? You just said, he left, and we'll talk about that, or did police search it and then maybe leave it that way?
I never thought about that.
I didn't either.
I did see like a 12-pack of beer that 4 of them are missing. Just, I don't know, nothing really struck me as that. I guess I didn't think about the cops coming and doing all that. So, but I don't know. It's usually pretty tidy in there. So I was kind of shocked to see stuff everywhere.
And you had just mentioned that you did the long interview with police, and sure, they do everything longhand. But what sort of things were they asking you?
Just if what happened in 2025, what happened in 2015, what happened 2 years ago when he threatened her and to throw her overboard and hurt and kill her. So I told them everything, and then they asked about what was Brian's story about you going to the mental hospital or something. So I answered that, just saying, hey, I was just sad and needed support, got on antidepressants. Just because I was a little sad doesn't mean I can't look at the facts and say this is sketchy. So yeah.
Yeah, so briefly, walk me through the timeline of how you found out from Brian that your mom was missing.
He called me like 25 hours after she went missing that, hey, just want to let you know that your mom's missing. She fell overboard and I threw a life device at her, but I don't know if she got it, and she drifted away. And then I paddled up shore and then to Marsh Harbor. He ended up in Marsh Harbor. And then he's like, but we're going to come up there and see you soon. So I hope to see you when we come up there. I was like, okay. And then he like ended up quickly saying stuff to get off the phone and hung up. I was like, okay, that was wild. And Steve instantly got up and was like, that was sketchy. Like something was wrong. Like that did not add up. And I was still in shock. So I was like, what just happened? My mom's gone. How do you lose my mom?
Yeah, it's surreal. After having been to some of those places and seeing the geography, what do you think of his story that she was overboard and that he couldn't get to her?
She could have swam like a couple feet and she would have been on shore, or shallow enough to touch. Like in some places, Brian could have stood up and got her and even dragged the dinghy with him because it was that shallow. I could see clear to the bottom all around Abaco Sea area. So it's all shallow. It's like a big sandbar. And yeah, you would have seen a body the next day at least if she fell in where she supposedly fell in.
And his part of the story that he had to swim to the shore and it took several hours before he could report your mom missing. Does that still add up or no?
No, it would have took him a couple hours. I met a guy down there, Captain Ron. He said that he swam from in between the islands where he said that he paddled in 2.5 hours. So if you're paddling along, you would have been there a little faster than a swimmer, I would assume, because swimmers get tired faster. But it doesn't make sense. Something happened in those 9 hours, I think.
Did you see the dinghy when you were there?
No, it wasn't at the boat. It's with the police.
Is it the small one that is on your mom's Facebook? Is it this one?
Yep.
So it's a very small boat. It's a very small dinghy.
Yeah, and what's underneath Brian is what he threw to my mom, supposedly. But as you see, that's just like a kneeling pad. That's not a flotation device. So that I don't understand why he called it a life device. That would not hold a 150-pound girl.
And we've just talked about some of the places that you visited. I want to show some of your pictures from the search. So this is you. Where are you right there?
We are close to Hope Town, Abaco Inn, right down the road, on the Atlantic side. So you can see it's pretty wavy over there. And we just stopped along the road and in between going from Abaco Inn and just looked out at the water for a little bit. That's like my favorite picture.
And what I notice about it too is I'm not sure if it changes how far out you get, but it's pretty clear. You would see something, right?
Yeah, and like in between those pylons is the channel that they're talking about. And in between those, that's where it's deep, but outside of them, it's pretty shallow. It's knee to waist deep. So, and then my mom and Brian parked one of their boat. They don't know if it was on the left side or the right side on the dock because you could park your dinghy there. So yeah, it's pretty see-through and shallow.
But this isn't where the boat is currently, right?
The sailboat is like up there to the left, outside the pylon.
It was.
It was before when she disappeared.
Can I
Okay,
paint
and
you a
then it
picture
was
really
moved
quick?
somewhere else where, you know.
Can I paint you a picture really quick? The picture of Karli on the Atlantic side.
This one?
You see the waves, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one, go to the next picture you did. You see how it's waved. There's waves there. That's the same day, same within 5 minutes of each other. That's the exact same wave height. Look, you cannot see a single wave. You can see reflections in those waters because one side you get the wind, the other side, which is this side, which is the side he's saying she's missing from, has no waves. Do you see a wave? I mean, it's literally the reason they parked the sailboats on this side is because it's the lee side and it blocks the wind. That's I'm not a boater, but this is what, you wouldn't park a boat in that. That's why on the other side you park, that's where they parked. On the pylons right there, you can see the sticks in there. On the left or right side of them, it's literally knee to waist deep. If he would have followed the left-hand side and went along the shore, we didn't get pictures of it, but it's the same thing. It's if you get within the shore is probably 10 to 15 feet wide, that it's literally knee to waist deep. If she would have fell off, she could literally have sat up, her butt would have been touching the ground and she could have been probably above water. You can see how windy it was by the Atlantic side, all those waves. On the other side, there was no waves. It was blowing maybe 10 knots when we were there. There was no waves. It was crystal clear. You could see the bottom. You could see sea turtles. We saw sharks. It's not deep at all. We even seen a boat about the size of that boat on the right in this picture run aground.
Really?
That's why, and this is when he's going through not this channel, but the channel out in the Abaco Sea. We saw, I mean, you could see it run aground. I mean, it churned up everything.
No.
Is that it or no?
No, it was a bigger.
This is with a lighthouse and with another boat?
In relation of when we're there. Yeah, this. And we followed it. Even if the sea was in a bad chop, they could have followed the shore the whole way to where the boat is and then went out to the boat straight across. And even if it was, we are not saying it wasn't windy. It was windy and there could have been a chop. We're just saying it would have been a greater likelihood of survival if they would have done, and you'd think a boater would know this, follow the shore where it's not choppy, where it's shallow enough to where you can operate your motor and you can actually not fall out and die and drown. But we don't know what happened to her. We're not saying he murdered her. We're just saying he's at least guilty of neglect. What would happen if a boater here was on a ship and the captain was drinking and the boater fell off and is now missing? It's at least neglect, if not some kind of negligence at a bare minimum. We're just saying, hey, this should be looked at. We're just frustrated. We're not getting anywhere quick. Sorry to interrupt your.
No, like all of that is really good insight because you were there also,
Yes.
Steve. So thank you. And thanks for in relation to what we're looking at, seeing the waves versus no waves. It really kind of raises more questions, right, Karli?
Yeah, definitely.
And those waves there was bigger waves that day we were out there. It was on the Atlantic side. It got, there were some nice waves. Surfers could have probably been on them. They were some decent size. And then on the other side, it was like literally crystal clear.
But and just to button that part up, you mentioned shark. Was it a big shark like you see in the movies, or was it a little baby shark?
It was probably 5-6 footer. There was several of them. I seen on just the boat ride to the Tahiti beach and back to the Elbow Cay, and probably saw half a dozen to 10.
There were some turtles.
Yeah, and saw sea turtles, saw some, what's that, wahoo? Saw a guy catch a nice, 4 or 5 foot wahoo. It was beautiful down there. The people down there were amazing. The people at Conch Inn, Brian is the GM, I think there. These people were just fantastic at helping us, at saying, hey, this is who you should go talk to. I talked to so many boat captains. Karli's a bit of an introvert, even though she's the one on cam. I like to hide behind the scenes. I'm an extrovert. I talked to so many people, like literally probably over 100 people. Talked to at least 10 different boat captains, and they all had the general same consensus of his story is not adding up, and it should be looked at, to put it mildly.
Okay, thank you. No, this is really, really interesting and helpful. What did the people say at the last place that we know that they were at together? So it was that floating bar?
They were at the floating bar earlier in the day, and then they went to Elbow Cay. I don't know if they went to Firefly in between there. I haven't heard anything official or seen anything official, but there is documents and a picture that they were at Elbow Cay until they got their last drink around 6:34, and that's the only last proof that we have.
Who was that, for the
My
record?
Ponyo.
A support animal at this point in time.
Yes, I've had her for like 8 years now.
Okay, so what did you talk to them about? Did they notice anything unusual?
No, they said they weren't very rememberable. They were just another customer. The bartender does remember serving them and what they gave them. It was like a rum and something, Coke. Cuba Libre. They got 4 total. Brian went up 2 apiece, yeah. And then Brian went up to the bar a second time and he was shirtless. But that's all they remember. I want to say we did watch the video, and that was nice. Candace helped us a lot. She got us a boat ride. She works at Elbow Cay. She was really nice to us, was really helpful, and she got us a boat ride with Harold Malone. And he helped, and he's the one that brought us, retrace their steps and tour the place to give us a better idea of what happened.
You said during all of this, it finally became even more real, huh?
Yeah, I just replayed all the memories I had with her when I was there with her, like in February.
Yeah, tell me about your mom.
She is a very adventurous woman. She's pretty happy. She's strong. She is very artistic. She loves crafts, making stuff. She's just loves sewing. She's pretty good at sewing. She does biminis. Like I said, she did the windows on her boat to like cover so the wind, and she made it like a window so you could see through it. And she did a cover for her grill. And she's also really active. She's always been very active. She works out. She doesn't run anymore. She used to run half marathons and 25Ks, but she doesn't anymore because she has shin splints. But she like does boot camps and does yoga on the boat. So she's really active. So she's just like a jack of all trades, really.
Yeah, and she, you mentioned her fitness. I mean, she's a good swimmer, right?
Oh yeah.
And so is Brian. I mean, he was former Marine. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And tell me again how they came to be on the boat. Was this kind of like a bucket list thing?
Yeah, they've always wanted to retire and sail the ocean. So they started like 10 years ago on like a two-person boat, and then they just got bigger and bigger as the years went on when they were ready to upgrade. And now they're on a 45, 50-foot boat. And yeah, it's always been my mom's dream. And then Brian just kind of was like, yeah, that sounds fun. So he just joined with her.
And that's the boat that's on their social media, right?
Soulmate.
And everything appeared to be working correctly on that as well, right? And you also mentioned that it kind of felt real being there. Well, it must have felt really strange and real being followed with a news crew. You mentioned Dateline. I mean, that must have been a strange experience for anybody.
Yeah, that was new. But they are the ones that flew me out there and had us stay at Konkin, so that was really nice of them. So just happy I was able to go. But the interview, it took a lot out of me just to like relive it and be there. And then talking to the police the next right after, so it was just a lot.
No, and I get it, and they do such a good job, good journalism, of course, and I know that it's important to share, and we're going to share how people can help you, in this interview. So thank you. I get it. With Brian, have you talked to him?
No, I don't plan to right now. With what I know and my gut feeling, I'm going to stay away from that.
Did you watch any of his interviews? He did a couple interviews when he was released out of questioning.
Yeah, I did see that he wasn't going to stop searching for her and was crying on camera and then leaves right before I get there.
Did that look like real tears? Have you ever seen him cry before?
I think I've heard him cry once downstairs when they were about to break up once when my mom told me. But I'm not sure. I've never seen him cry.
So did it look real to you from, you spent many years with him, right? You guys all lived in the same house?
Yeah, I've seen him angry more than anything. He likes to yell at people. But yeah.
So he said that he wouldn't stop searching for your mom, and then he left.
Yeah, the next day.
What was your reaction to that when you heard that?
I was really irritated because I was like, how do you just lose my mom and then you just bail out? But okay. I get your mom's sick, but she's been sick, so the circumstances right now and what's going on, he should have stayed. I don't know how the locals were acting towards him, if that's why he left, or I don't know. But I know everyone's pretty upset there because they think the story's also sketchy because they know the water's the best and it just doesn't add up. So I was irritated that he left, and it just shows his character on how much his word means, I guess, because he should have stayed looking.
Did he look at all that you know of? Like, did he search for her after those interviews?
Not that I know of.
And you already answered the next question that I had. Like, is his mom even sick?
Yeah, she is sick. She was supposed to get like a kidney transplant, but she declined. So she's like at chronic kidney failure, I guess.
Do you think that he's going to return and help search?
I have a feeling he's not going to return, but he lives on that boat, so he has nothing else. So they have a car, but that's it. And so I don't even know. I would be surprised if the Bahamas would even let him back in right now. So with this being an investigation of possible manslaughter or murder.
Did you find your mom's passport? He must have had his or gotten approval to leave somehow.
I think he got it expedited.
And did you find your mom's, or was that in the bag that he said that fell?
Supposedly it's in the bag for some reason. I don't know why they were carrying their passport.
What is so you haven't spoken to him, you haven't heard from him, or did he reach out?
He has not reached. He left a few voicemails and left me some texts, but hasn't reached back out. I think because he knows I've been sharing it, and saying what I'm saying, he's staying away.
So he sent you another voicemail after he left the Bahamas?
No.
Oh, okay. What does his daughter say? What does the other family members say?
I think they're a little sketched out right now too. They don't want to believe. Well, I know Rosie, she doesn't want to believe that her dad would do something like this because it's her dad, which I totally understand. But at the same time, she's like, it looks like he did something to her though. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I don't know.
So you've spoken with her?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I talked to her last night, the last time I spoke to her, and the last thing I said was like, I miss my mom. And she's like, I know, she touched a lot of people. I miss her too.
Can I show some pictures that I know that has been shown of your mom? And I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts. And these are pictures that you've shared and they've been public. I wanted to get some thoughts from you and what comes to mind with these pictures.
Yeah, I remember that picture. That was at my grandparents' house. I love that picture of us. That was at a wedding, at my cousin's wedding. That was fun. And that was in Florida. Or no, that was Whitecaps with my grandparents.
It seems like you guys had a lot of fun together.
Yep.
And then this one is one of the main pictures of your mom that's going around there.
Yeah, very candid.
Yeah, and it looks like there's someone, is she on like a pirate boat or something? Is there like a theme going on there?
I think that was at Key West, yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your mom.
She's always wanted to sail after retirement. I think she retired when she was 49. So she retired early and just got out there on the sailboat. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you hoping to go back and search for your mom, or?
Yeah, I would like to go back. It was definitely, it wasn't like a vacation. I didn't swim one time. I was doing stuff for this investigation. Like I wanted to do my own investigation and see around everywhere where they were. So it was really helpful. So if I could go back, I would.
And again, it's really it takes time to get around the islands and to get around the area. And it's not cheap. It's a tourist place, but it's just expensive in general. If anyone hasn't been there, it's beautiful, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
How can people help you? There has been such a outpouring of support for you. And I just want to start there. So many people on this show, but like just in general online, are praying for you and the family and hoping that you get answers.
Yeah, I posted a TikTok even, and I have a lot of people commenting prayers with you, and it's a lot of Bahamian people, and it's really nice because I know that story went like wildfire there because they just thought it was strange, but they're so supportive. They helped me so much, like helping me with boat rides and where I should go look, and helping me with cameras, and it's been like really helpful. They've been really helpful.
And your message to everybody else out there that's writing messages, or?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, they've been super supportive, and I'm really grateful for it. I'm glad I'm not just like seeing it one way and everyone's like, no, Karli, you're not, that doesn't make sense. But no, my gut feeling is what everybody else's gut feeling, it seems to be. So it's just nice to have all the support.
Have people in the chats raised questions that you hadn't thought about, or what is the most people? What are you seeing the most of outside of the love?
Just if she even got on that dinghy that night. I only saw them walking away from the bar, so I don't know for sure if she even got on that dinghy. Candace helped like she knew the guy's house that's in that picture, the White House on the left side. And she asked if they had cameras, and he said, no, I don't. That would have been perfect, though. They used to have a camera pointing down to that water on top of the roof, but it got taken down in the hurricane in 2019, and they didn't put it back up. There is a house to the right if you're looking at Elbow Cay, and there's a camera pointing to the water. I don't think I ever got that view, so I don't know if there's anything on that. I know part of Elbow Cay, they control that camera because that's part of the resort. So I never got back in to ask because they were doing a wedding and we already went back up there twice. So we just kind of, hopefully the Coast Guard got a hold of it.
And just to button up the part about your stepdad, you know, do you still think that this could have been an accident?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I don't feel like she could have drowned in that water. Or if she did, somebody would have seen her by now in that shallow water.
What's your message to Brian right now?
I'm happy you were in the Bahamas because I didn't want to say something to you that I didn't want being said. And I know Steve would be emotional too. So glad you left right before I got there because I did not want to run into you right now. I really hope this isn't true still, but the more I think about it, the more I look into it, it's just not adding up. I think your story is just a story.
Were you worried about running into him?
A little bit, yeah. I didn't know. I have a lot of hurt right now. The negligence that happened. He's a Marine. He should know what to do in an emergency situation, you would think. It's just hard.
How can people help?
Just the support has been very nice. Yeah, my GoFundMe, that would really help a lot. I changed the name of it to make it more findable, and I changed the picture to just us. I like that picture of us. We were at a wedding for my cousin. And yeah, just the support, my GoFundMe, so I can go back down again. That would be great. Bring Steve with me because he's my emotional support animal right now. So, yeah, that's all I can ask for.
Well, I appreciate Steve. I appreciate the cat, and I appreciate you very much. You know, I'm sorry that you're going through this. I really am. And I'm going to put the link to the GoFundMe in my show notes so that people can find it. And I really do hope to talk to you again soon, and maybe we'll have a positive update with all of this, or at least get some answers for you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Lynette Hooker was last seen in the Elbow Cay area on April 4th. That's when she was reported missing by Brian Hooker. Again, he has not been charged with any crimes in this case. The U.S. Coast Guard has also declined to make any comments, saying that this is an ongoing investigation. But if you have any information, please call the U.S. Coast Guard or the FBI. They are investigating. In the meantime, let's keep Lynette Hooker and her family in our thoughts and prayers. And if you can, check out the GoFundMe page below in the show notes. That's how you can donate to the cause to get Lynette's daughter back in the Bahamas and searching for her mom. That's the very latest. I'll keep you updated on the case. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next time.